Hello and welcome to the blog. This week sees us finishing up mooring our boat here in Handy's Marina. We've been here for the past 3 years and we've been very happy with the place. And just before we go, I thought I'd give you a tour around the marina and show you some of the facilities before we head down river. Down through Lough Ree, where we're going to keep the boat a little closer to Athlone, at least for the winter time. And that'll give us a chance to do some exploring around the Athlone area, where, by the way, there are plenty good pubs. So just to give you a look around Hanley's, there are full lift out facilities here, and JT, who's the resident mechanic here, actually built this lifting trailer himself, which is a testament to his engineering skills. Now before we head off down across the lake, I need to make a few checks on the engines. I want to check a few of the filters and just make sure everything is in tip-top condition. Now, so midway between the helm outside and the engines, which are down under the floor there are two grease nipples, and what these do is they go into the throttle and gear lever cables about the midpoint, and they allow me to put grease in there and thus extend the life of the cables. See, people, they put these on and they're pulling and hauling and it won't come off. You heard that one click in that time. So I just pump away in that now. You can hear the grease coming out. That's grand. So if I try and remove that, it's completely stuck on. But you just slight angle, put it down there, and a bit of a twist, and it comes off without any problem at all. Now, so welcome to the Driftwood bilge. You're looking kind of forwards in the boat. That's the starboard engine, and that's the port engine, or as we like to call them, the right hand side and the left hand side. These are two weed traps. This is where water is taken in from the river, goes through these weed traps, catches any weed, and then they goes into the heat exchanger. So to check the oil of these, and I like to check the oil kind of anytime I'm going out on a reasonably long trip. Maybe I would probably check them every week or 2 weeks. Just wipe it clean. Insert it back in again. Make sure she's down all the way. Then remove it. It's always good to have the bit of tissue paper there to catch it. And you check and make sure that's between the maximum and minimum lines. Another good trick to do. A bit of clean kitchen paper for this is to get a bit of oil in your fingers, rub it like that, wipe it clean on a bit of paper, and if your fingers aren't oil stained with black, then your oil doesn't need to be changed. Now, how true that is, I'm not sure, but it was told by a mechanic type person, so. And it would make a bit of sense because the black in the oil is carbon that's built up. So if it wipes clean like that, I suspect not enough carbon is built up to warrant changing it. So now I'll just get the other side. It's handy that you can sit between the two engines here, working away, and I can check that other one. And I'm sure if the oil in one engine is clean, let's give that a wipe. See what my fingers are like at the end of it. Look at that, grand. That oil doesn't need to be changed, which is just as well because these take I think it's 27 or 28 litres per engine. It's a lot of oil they take. It's quite an expensive job to change the oil on this. So you have two big 25 litre containers. That's not quite enough. You have to buy a third one. And so I don't like to change the oil unless I absolutely have to do it. So the oil is good, right level, and doesn't need to be changed. I know the weed traps are empty because we haven't been up any canals or anywhere like that. I'm not going to open them up at this stage because if I did, I'd only run the risk of not sealing them up properly, and actually the seals on them are not great. Because if they suck in air, they won't suck up any water. So we're going to take the boat in a day or two. We were going to go today, but we've kind of put it off because the weather has turned bad. And we're going to head down through Athlone. That means we have to go down the full length of Lough Ree. And I want to doubly check everything on the engines because the forecast is not good. There's a lot of wind forecast. So I suspect I'll be going down, on my own. It'll be just me and you. You can keep me company. Marina will go down ahead in the car, and I want to make sure that nothing breaks down along the way. So that's... I have my spare fan belts. That's Marion there in the background saying she's sure not going to be going down. But so we'll see. So hopefully everything will be good. We have a new fan belt on this engine. Just check the one on the right hand engine, the starboard engine, as naughty people call them, nautical types, and that seems okay. So it all looks like it'll be good to go. Just keep the fingers crossed that the wind doesn't get up too high. Well guys, welcome once again to the bilge. So this guy here is a fuel filter, and that's what we're going to have a look at now in a second, but I'm going to show you something else first. Right guys, so this is the bottom of the fuel tank you're looking at, and that little fella there, if I can point to it without causing a shadow, is a little drain plug. And what I'm going to do is just try and drain a wee bit of diesel out the bottom of the tank. This is the lowest point of the tank. It's deliberately designed so, and the idea being that any water, any debris or anything like that should catch down here and we'll be able to drain it off. So that's the first defence in trying to keep the diesel clean. Make sure not to lose that fella, that's an important guy. So I have a wee bottle here. I'm just going to drain a wee bit into this. Just turn on the tap. Look at the dirt coming out there now. That's pretty mucky. And pretty quickly it turns very clean, which is good. We're off about half a litre. Okay guys, so now it's on to the really exciting bit. This is changing the fuel filter. So the first thing I do is I reach in here. There's a wee tap, and that isolates the fuel supply. Now I speeded this up here, otherwise you'll be watching me changing the fuel filter for about the next 40 minutes. The whole thing I think with diesel engines is about hygiene and cleanliness. They need clean air, clean oil and clean diesel. And a blocked diesel filter or dirty diesel I should say, is the one thing that will actually bring a diesel engine to a halt. It's about the only thing that will stop a diesel engine. They say that once a diesel engine is getting compression and it's getting diesel, it almost cannot stop. In fact, when you turn off the ignition, what that does is it actually turns off a little switch in the fuel pump, which in turn starves the engine of diesel and brings it to a halt. So I'm just changing the O-rings now. They come with the new filter. It's a good idea to change them. Working in the bilge here, as you can see, it is quite cramped, and every year as I get a bit older it gets a bit more awkward. So what I've come to do now lately is I have notes made, and I know that when I get in there I need 3 spanners. I need a size 10, an 11 and a 14. So I bring down those 3 spanners because there's nothing worse than getting in and starting a job and realise you have to crawl all the way back out again to get a spanner, and then you get the wrong size and the whole thing can be torturous. So here you can just see we're filling the fuel filter up now with diesel again, and you'll see it come out the top, and once you get diesel coming out the top without any bubbles, you shouldn't have any air in the system. It may have to bleed it at the pump, but hopefully I won't have to. Fuel filter changed. Only snag is, this boat has 2 engines, so now I have to do the exact same on the other engine. I'll save you the torture of watching that. The only other thing I have to do is just go around it all with a bit of kitchen paper so that I know if I've any diesel leaks in it. Just get it all nice and dry, and you quickly enough you'll spot if there's a leak. More.
I think we really should get a milk jug, Harry. I think it would look a bit better. I think everybody will agree with me. A milk jug.
Doesn't it taste better out of the carton?
Well, we had a milk jug, but it got broken. So.
Sure. And hopefully in a day or two we'll take the boat down. But I said the wind is really up at the moment.
And I will not be going.
Good. And so it looks like at the moment it's going to be just you and me. So I'll leave you for company. So
I'll be having the tea.
I'll have plenty of cameras on. Mara's going to bring the car down. We'll see what the weather's like. Now, we could be lucky, we could get a break in it, but what's happening is there's yet another hurricane coming across the Atlantic, and America gets the hurricanes. We seem to get the tail end of the hurricanes. And they normally say in Ireland that in the summer the weather's nice between the showers. This year we've been saying the weather's nice between the hurricanes, because I think we got 3 of them this year. This will be the 3rd one.
Yeah, well, I know that the forecast here is pretty bad, and they're given a yellow warning for wind and rain.
Yeah, so there's nothing worse than yellow rain.
Red, yeah, a yellow warning.
Yeah, yellow.
Well, a yellow wind and rain warning.
Yeah, yellow rain. Should always warn about it. It's
okay.
We'll talk to you shortly.
That's what I put up with. Cheerio.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Well, guys, that's it for this week, I'm afraid. Don't forget to join us next week where we'll head off down across Lough Ree. And if this is your first time watching, make sure to click that round subscribe button, tick the notifications bell, and that way YouTube will let you know as soon as our next video is out. Thanks for watching.